Hello again, and welcome to hopefully another edutaining episode of Create Simple Meals. So, it's Mardi Gras season, as you can see from my Mardi Gras shirt. And I was talking to my cousin this morning, the chef and owner of Simone's Kitchen ATL. So, we was talking about some new idea recipe she's working on and got my creative juices going. So I was like, I'm gonna throw some barbecue in the grill today. So I was doing that. Then I had this idea. I'm gonna try something different with the mac and cheese. We're gonna call it a Southwest mac and cheese, but I ain't really got a name for it right now. But basically, it's a real quick mac and cheese. And the reason it's different is I'm actually going to use a pepper jack and a extra sharp cheddar. My niece mentioned it while we was on the way to an appointment. I'm like, you know what? Let's go ahead and try it. So the basis of this is real quick. Let me get this induction burner started. The basis is real quick. We're going to make a roux. And for those you don't know, roux is equal parts fat and flour. So I'm using butter as my source of fat. And then we have my flour. So I'm going to let this start melting down. And it should melt pretty quick. Now, for those of you that might be looking, you see I'm real big on minimizing dirtying up pots. So the same pot that I use to boil the noodles in is the same pot that I'm going to use to make this mac and cheese in. Now, as far as the noodles, I tried something different. When I boiled these noodles, using the package instructions, I put 2 full tablespoons of salt and 2 full tablespoons of onion powder in it as well. And I did that so that I could enhance these flavors. Normally when I do mac and cheese, I use garlic. But because I'm doing what I think is more of a Southwest or a Tex-Mex type flavor, I said onions might go a little bit better. This is really what we're going to call a development recipe, because it is absolutely the very first time I've done it. Not my first time making mac and cheese, obviously, but it is my first time using this flavor profile. The other good reason for salting your noodles, heavy salt, is because it will flavor the noodles and minimize you having to add extra salt to it and give you a flavor in each bite. So as you see, we got the butter boiling. Get that out of my way. And we're going to make this real quick roux. So, again, equal parts fat and flour. What we're going to do with this, we have some, it's a total of 1 pound. We have 3/4 pounds. Actually, no, I'm lying. It's 2 pounds. We have 1.5 pounds of pepper jack and 1/2 pound of extra sharp cheddar. Now, I'm going to tell you, I never use extra sharp. I normally only use sharp. But my niece was like, hey, you know what, Uncle JV, we should do extra sharp. So again, development meal, but we're going to see how it's going to work. Now, the part that I'm not going to do, this is what I'm going to call a Creating Simple Meals quick tip. What I'm not going to do is show the bacon part of this, but I am going to make the mac and cheese. And then the only thing I'm going to do different that you won't see here is I'm going to sprinkle it with some panko and throw it in the oven real quick, just to brown it. But I really did not feel like bringing out the air fryer, which I use for on-air bacon. And I was super excited. I was like, you know what? I don't even want to wait to develop the show. I want to go ahead and show the folks right now. The one good thing of this, while I'm developing it, doing it in front of you live, is you see, as I said before, cooking takes passion, patience, and practice. You see me now, my passion for this, and I'm definitely practicing. So, to this roux, you don't want to get it too dark. We're going to add about 24 ounces of cream. So, 3 cups. All right, so that's 1 cup. There's 2 for 16 ounces. And 3. That'll give us 24 ounces. I'm going to set this to a side because just in case I need a little bit more. Again, incorporate this all together, and we're going to bring this up to a boil. All right. So while that's boiling, just again, a real quick recap. What we have here is we're going to call it for now, a Southwest mac and cheese. It's going to be pepper jack, extra sharp cheddar, basic roux. We're going to throw the noodles in there once this comes to a boil, and that's basically it. I actually might need some more of that cream, but that's why it's sitting handy real by. Let's bring this up higher. So, like I say, it's Mardi Gras time. My cousin, she called me this morning, was talking about this what was it, a salmon cake idea that she's thinking about doing. So I told her, I said, you know what, I might end up playing with it live on my show next week, or I might wait till I get to Mardi Gras the week after next and go and do it there. But trust me, if we do it and we like it, you all will be the first to see it here on Create Simple Meals, as long as Simone's Kitchen allows me to do it. All right. Now, I did, so you saw me go in the drawer, I did grab some garlic salt just in case I do need a little bit more flavor into it. I'm not anticipating that, which is one of the reasons I said earlier, when you boil your noodles, use a more salt than you probably think is necessary. So they always say, you know, salt your water when you're boiling your noodles. I found 2 tablespoons is a good balance. To be honest, because I've tasted the noodles, I honestly wish I had put 3 tablespoons, but we'll see how this is going to go. All right, that's exactly what I wanted. You see how that's getting real thick? That's exactly what you're looking for when you're making the basis for this mac and cheese. Now, because I'm making this extra thick, I can tell you right now, I'm going to need some more cream, so I ain't even going to have to do it. So now, what I said earlier was 24 ounces. Let's just bump that up to a full quart, 32 ounces of heavy cream. This is not a healthy meal. I'm letting you know that right now. It is far from a healthy meal, but it's going to be a good meal. So from there, we're going to start adding in our cheese. As you see, what's first going in is the sharp cheddar. Now, it's not a rhyme or reason. Just so happened that when we grated it earlier, we grated them separately, and that went on top. So it's not like, oh, I got to put the sharp cheddar in first. No, it's all getting incorporated. I just happened to, when it was grated, that went on top. And in all honesty, the way I'm looking at this, I actually probably could add even a little bit more liquid, but we're gonna see, because it is thick right now. Now, me personally, I like a thick cream. When you're doing this or any of the mac and cheese recipes, adjust it to your liking. If you don't like it thick, you can thin it out with a little bit of milk, a little bit more cream. I'm probably going to add a little bit of regular milk, or actually half and half. That's another thing you can use to do that. So actually, I probably am going to add a little bit of more half and half into this. But in the meanwhile, we're just going to let this boil down. So adjust your heat a little bit. Now, for those of you that's used to making traditional mac and cheese, you know, rather Southern style mac and cheese, where you put in your eggs and your inside it to bake, you actually can skip that step altogether by just making extra thick roux and going from there. The egg is basically just to bind it, but you don't need it if you're making a roux and you make it thick enough. So I'm gonna add a little bit heavy cream into this. Y'all gotta trust me on this. I can feel it because I know I've done this before. That was a cup and a half. All right, we get this mixed up. As you see, again, it's extremely thick. So if you were doing just your regular style mac and cheese, as you normally you boil your your noodles, and you got your egg, your cheese. You put that all together. You can totally skip the egg altogether by just increasing the thickness of your roux. So the roux, as you saw earlier, equal parts fat and flour. I use a stick of butter and an equal amount of flour, which is a stick of butter is a half a cup of flour. You see how that made. So now once you add your liquid, that's what makes it as thin or as thick as you want it. So I'm gonna add another quarter cup to this. All right, so as this is, bring this up, I do want it to be at a boil, but not a fast boil. What they call, I guess the proper term is a rolling boil. But as you see how thick that cheese sauce has gotten just that fast. It's extremely thick, so I'm gonna add a little bit more, another quarter cup. All right, that's about where we want to get this all mixed together. Now what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna grab me a tasting spoon and taste this in a second. Give me 1 second. I want to taste this and pretty good. Now I can use probably a little salt, not much, but I am going to add a little salt to it. And this is where I'm going to just kind of eyeball it. All right. Okay. So now that's the consistency I was actually going for. So as you see, you can still see that it's pretty thick, but it's not so thick that it's glue. Now to that, we're going to add in our noodles. And again, when I boiled the noodles, it was simply boil it as your package directs. However, I added a full 2 tablespoons of salt and 2 tablespoons of onion powder. Now, basically, the mac and cheese is more or less done. Like I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to top this with some panko breadcrumbs, throw it in the oven just fast enough for it to brown, and that will be your real quick mac and cheese. Let me give this another taste. Sorry, didn't want to be on camera with food in my mouth. That pepper jack actually did a nice little kick to it. So it's not your traditional mac and cheese. And I'm gonna be honest, the sharp cheddar I don't even think it did much to it other than balance out the whiteness of the look. So it's more aesthetics than anything else. I know you've seen several recipes where they have a million different cheeses in there, and I'm not a big fan of that, and primarily because when you put all them cheeses in there, by the end of the day, all you have is a bunch of cheeses, but the most dominant ones are going to take over. So I'm not a big fan of a million different cheeses. Now, if you didn't want to have or didn't want to spend the money on heavy cream, you can also use sour cream to give you that same fatness. But as you see, this is an extremely cheesy mac and cheese that we have here. I can guarantee you it's extremely kid friendly. Not a kid in the world would eat this, but to be honest, some of you adults will eat it as well too. So again, until next time on Create Simple Meals, remember there are absolutely only 3 rules we have when it comes to cooking. You must have patience. You must have patience. You must have a passion, and you must practice. See you next time on Create Simple Meals.
Snake eyes on dice for y'all, shoulders on ice for y'all. Frozen. 8-6 all the hate. I won't get involved today. Got lost in the ball and age. I'm flipping the bars and flipping the. On record, off record, I still count wins when they doubt it. On record, off record, I let them take advantage. I was wildin'. On record, off record deals. Tell them talk to Colin for the quote. On record, off record, I still want the act, not the ghost. Running through it with the young influence, adolescent presence, also coming to it. I've been giving yeses when I shouldn't do it. I complete ejected with the